From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and All India Radio, this is Stumped.
Hello and welcome to Stumped, your intercontinental hit of news, features and debate from the quirky world of cricket. I'm Alison Mitchell in London, although it's a pretty sobering time to be in Europe at the moment, what with everything going on in Ukraine. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, England's women managed to come out of their isolation early in New Zealand in preparation of the Women's World Cup. And England's men have got a tour of the West Indies to look forward to, where it's certainly going to be a lot warmer than the grey skies and pouring rain that's happening in London at the moment.
Hello, Ali. And Shadow, Jim Maxwell for the ABC in Sydney. Well, you wouldn't want to be here. I mean, Sydney's living up to its reputation as one of the wettest, certainly cricket countries, cities in the world. It's been raining for most of the week. We've had more rain than usual for the month. And somehow New South Wales were able to get a Shield game in against Tasmania and win. And Trent Copeland took his 400th first-class wicket. But the Aussies are about to go to Pakistan, and hopefully the rain will stop. But not in a hurry, unfortunately, as we creep into March and the excitement awaits us in New Zealand, as Ali mentioned.
Well, hello, Ali and Jim. This is Charu Sharma once again for All India Radio. I am in Bangalore, back from our coffee plantation, but I'm not at home. I'm at the fabulous Sheraton Hotel in Whitefield, one of the suburbs where the convention centre has been turned into our Kabaddi court. And it is the final weekend of Season 8 of the Pro Kabaddi League. So I've been brought in for a few meetings prior to the final. There tends to be another, or looks to be another bumper season, as it were. We'll see how it all ends. But great to be back on Stump. And of course, cricket-wise, Sri Lanka are now in India. It's non-stop action back home, where India, as always, continue to be tigers.
The cricket never stops, does it? First on the programme today, though, we're going to start in a part of the world that's at the centre of global attention for reasons other than cricket, because at the time of recording, Russian forces have launched a major military assault on Ukraine, with reports of missile strikes and explosions in major cities. It's a time of massive concern and uncertainty for the people who live in Ukraine, with world leaders trying to ensure the safety of the country and its citizens. Now, Ukraine isn't known as a cricketing hotbed, but the game has been growing there in recent years, and the chief executive of the Ukraine Cricket Federation, Corbus Olivier, has been spearheading Ukraine's drive to become an associate member of the International Cricket Council, which provides funding for the development of the game. And we can speak to Corbus from Kiev. Corbus, welcome to Stumped. I mean, I'm sure cricket is further away from your mind at the moment than many more immediate matters. First of all, tell us where you are and what's happening where you are.
Hi, Alison. Good morning. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Yes, I'm in Kiev. I'm in one of the suburbs here. I'm the big main road going straight into Kiev. As I say, about 15 minutes in the car. It's just outside my window. And I'm about 15 minutes out of the city center, Khreshchatyk, the main road, and Maidan Square. So it's been very real here. So I'm in a building complex on the 7th floor with my 4 dogs here in the apartment. So it all started this morning at about 4 o'clock. The reality, it's really happening.
Wow. What did you experience at that time?
We were walking outside and I heard about 18 huge explosions, like it was right next to me. So I knew immediately what was happening. I rushed into the apartment, brought my dogs in. So I heard they bombed apparently military bases just around Kiev and also Borispol airport. So yeah, that was the blast we heard. And as I'm sitting here, they say the tanks are coming in. There's video footage from Belarus, which is only 2 hours away from Kiev. The ground troops are coming in with their tanks. So it's quite a real, it's for real. The past week or so, the Ukrainians, nobody believed it was going to happen. They thought it can never really happen, maybe Donbass and Crimea. So, I mean, it was quite funny. Last night I was on the tube. People were walking around Khreshchatyk with coffees, sitting at street cafes. And this morning you just see chaos. The street outside, the lane going outside of Kiev has been absolutely jammed. Cars are not moving. People are trying to get out of Kiev now in their cars because the airports are obviously all been bombed.
I can hear from your accent, obviously, Corbus, that you're not Ukrainian native.
Yeah.
Tell us, first of all, how you have become involved in Ukraine cricket. And I mean, obviously, you're talking to us at the moment. Communications seem okay. Have you been in touch with others from the cricket fraternity this morning?
Yes, I spoke to our president, Mr. Hardeep Singh. He's unfortunately in one of the hotbeds. There's a lot of military bases based in Kharkiv. They've apparently been under heavy fire. He's got about 10,000 Indian students there in hostels, and he's been assisting them. They were supposed to fly out this morning to be evacuated. Unfortunately, that's not happening. So he's helping them to stay in the hostels and not go out. But he phoned me to check if I'm okay. So yes, we are in contact with each other. I've heard from them, yes. And then to answer your question about South Africa, yes, I arrived here actually by accident, by default. I was in about 8 years ago, 2014, I became CEO of Cricket Kenya. So I was in Nairobi for a year. We had real problems with Kenyan cricket. That's another story with the board. It's still ongoing. I then moved down to Dubai, where I started 2 cricket academies, my own academies, one with Ashwin, the cricketer, and I started one originally with Gary Kirsten. I ended up focusing on the one with Ashwin. I was there for about 4 years, and then I came to Kiev on holiday. And I thought, I've done cricket since my whole life. I was director of cricket at UCT, University of Cape Town. I played professional cricket for 15 years. I thought I need a break, and it was quite refreshing that there's no cricket in Kiev that I knew of at the time. And I thought, let me try something different. I came here 4 times in 1 year on a holiday, fell in love with Kiev, and I thought I'm going to take a break from cricket. I came here. I've got my 4 dogs here. My father came with me. So I then settled down here and I started teaching English. And through teaching English, my classes were really getting a bit boring, and you sit and talk about topics like travel. So I got a set of cricket equipment from Mr. Sham Bhatia, who is my friend in Dubai. He's very well known in cricket circles. He owns the biggest private cricket museum in the world in Dubai. And Mr. Bhatia has a cricket charity organization, Cricket for Care. So he sent me 3 sets of plastic, the mini cricket, quick cricket equipment. He said, Cobus, play some cricket with the guys. We thought it was sort of joking. And I started out of desperation with these kids. It's nice weather, it's beautiful. And I took them outside and I started playing cricket. And they just absolutely loved it. They just took to it. The Ukrainian kids, absolutely, it's something completely new. They all play basketball, football, tennis, and they fell in love with this game. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. So I asked Mr. Bhatia to send me 7 more sets, which he did. And I started a cricket program for the Ukrainian kids in Ukrainian schools here.
Obviously, you got a serious distraction going on at the moment. But is it cricket that keeps you in Ukraine? Is there any other reason than cricket for you to be there now?
I just feel I'm doing something in Ukraine that I probably couldn't do anywhere else. These kids have never seen a cricket bat. So it's a unique something that I'm giving to them. And I feel I've worked tirelessly for 3 years on this. I've started something so good that I feel to walk out of this now. I've got so many people backing me, good well-wishers, and Mr. Hardeep Singh and the Ukrainian Cricket Board. These people are passionate. So for me to leave Kiev now, I just can't do it. I'm stuck. Cricket is keeping me here, and I can't turn my back on this. I can't walk away from this.
Yeah, you're the Pied Piper of cricket there. There's no doubt about that from what you've been telling us. So internationally, where can you take the game for Ukraine, you think?
The Cricket Federation, Mr. Hardeep Singh and his board, has been trying since 2001. They've been playing cricket. They tried very hard since 2008. They've been working closely with the regional office of the ICC, Andy Wright, in London, the European office, to become an associate member. The senior cricket tick all the boxes, the criteria. They've got fantastic leagues going. They play matches, tournaments. Their shortcoming was they had no junior cricket development. There was no junior coaching. So I came in and I started that junior program with Ukrainian kids, which now tick the box for junior cricket development, having programs in schools, developing cricket at grassroots level for Ukrainians. So what we're hoping for, to answer your question, is if everything goes well, that we become an associate member of the ICC in July, and then we have international T20 status. It will help us a lot in Ukraine. We then sort of official member of the world governing body. We will go into schools. We'll be working very closely with the Ukrainian Department of Sport.
Gobus, hi. This is Charu Sharma from Bangalore.
Hello.
I'm surprised that the ICC hasn't appointed you as their ambassador at large, global ambassador for the sport. They should. Right now, with what's going on between Russia and Ukraine, how concerned are you that all this progress that you and others have made over the last, say, 2 decades might just be set back to a large degree?
I followed the Afghanistan story very closely, and I'm not saying we in Afghanistan yet. In Kiev, we're probably a lot better off, but it is scary and a lot can change. But I think it's going to be impossible to stop Ukrainian kids now from playing cricket. They absolutely love the game. So I believe, eventually when this is over, we don't know how long it's going to take, but life will carry on.
You're doing fantastic work, Corbus. And the most important thing for us to say to finish with is to stay safe and hope that this can pass for you and those who you're close to in Ukraine. And certainly hearing your testimony at the start, it is very scary times, but we really appreciate you coming on Stumped amidst everything going on to tell us about cricket in Ukraine. So good luck going forwards, and thanks for sharing
Thank you very much, Alison. An absolute pleasure to meet all of you, and thank you for this opportunity to showcase Ukrainian cricket. It's fantastic for us to let people understand we actually play cricket in Ukraine.
Next on Stumped, India have a new Test cricket captain. Rohit Sharma is the man who's been given the task of taking over from India's most successful Test captain, Virat Kohli. He's already their ODI and T20 captain, with Chairman of Selectors Chetan Sharma describing him as the #1 cricketer of our country. Charu, first of all, how did that comment go down? And is it the right appointment, in your opinion?
Well, it looks like there are only Sharmas in India, from Chetan to Rohit to Charu.
I missed out on that.
There you go. There's been no adverse comment for sure, because, he's been there for a very long time. He's played plenty of starring roles in white ball cricket for sure. And of course, for me, I've always maintained this. He is the finest cricketer in India in terms of classic style as well. It's just that, at times, because of white ball cricket, you have to play across the line. And he too fell into that trap for a while and was inconsistent in his test match performances. But nobody will object to the fact that he is probably the most consistent star at this point of time. He has the experience. There's been no objection to the appointment as well. There's just some thought to the future. And obviously, Rohit being 34, as a batsman who doesn't field in the outfield or slip and slide and tumble very often, maybe he'll last another 3 or 4 years at his level, which is a very high level. Or at times, of course, you start losing the hand-eye coordination, and sometimes careers end a little early. I, of course, don't wish that for him. But I think he's a very popular, very acceptable captain, and not in the least because he's led the IPL team to so much success, the Mumbai Indians. So that is also a factor where people believe that he does have some kind of a Midas touch. He's come in from extremely pressure-laden situations and taken the team to victory. And individually, his form is still very good, if not terrific, because he's still full of runs at the top, where it's usually very difficult, particularly in India, of course, where he knows the pitches so well. So all around, this is a very acceptable, happy situation for India. And this transition from Virat Kohli and all his global stardom to Rohit Sharma, who's a little more subdued, certainly a different character, might even do Indian cricket some good, although that really depends on the team from day to day and against who they're playing and whether they're playing at home.
Yeah, he seems to have the package, doesn't he? And Jim, how highly do you rate ability when it comes to being a Test captain in terms of being, the best player in the side? How does that weigh up? I mean, you've obviously got to hold your place in the team and be guaranteed your spot, but how do you weigh that up versus, the leadership capabilities?
Yes, well, historically, traditionally, most teams would appoint their best player or one of their best players, and that's certainly been the case in Australia. You pick your team and you pick the captain. Whereas in England, we've had a slightly different experience if you go back to people like Mike Brearley, who clearly was not the best player, but he had the brain to guide and manipulate the game like few others. So historically, yes, you've got to be a very, very good player. Otherwise, you're not going to have the respect of the other players, nor hold your place in the team. And I don't think there's any doubt that Rohit Sharma can do that. Whether he's their number one cricketer, I don't know whether Kohli's ego's taken a bit of a hit over that, or maybe he just doesn't take any notice, does he?
I mean, there's been some pretty big calls, Charo, hasn't there, ahead of the Test series with Sri Lanka. And one of them is the absence of the backup wicketkeeper, Wriddhiman Saha. He's not in the squad, claims that he's been told that he won't be considered for selection again, and reckons he's indirectly been told to consider retirement. But this wasn't where the story ended, though, because there was a really strange circumstance. We saw Saha post screenshots on Twitter of a WhatsApp conversation with someone who he described as a so-called respected journalist. And that journalist apparently asked Saha for an interview, but when he didn't respond, the journalist replied with pretty unsavouring, threatening language. And Saha then sort of outed this journalist on social media. It was a very sort of odd exchange. What did you make of it all?
Well, it's certainly very odd. And I don't think this so-called respected senior journalist expected to be outed by Wriddhiman Saha, because that's just how it's been so far. But, you know, the relationship between journalists, sports journalists, cricket journalists and players does go through the cycle where a lot of the senior journalists feel that they are partially responsible for the making of a cricketer or a star by saying that, you know, at that stage when you were young, we're the ones who promoted you and gave you plenty of column centimeters in the old days, these days, whatever they call it in digital space. And and then, of course, the player develops and later becomes a star. Now, as a star is usually, I mean, there's so much pressure, media pressure and otherwise, and this relationship suffers a bit because they can't spare the same amount of time to senior journalists who feel that they've been responsible for helping someone's career. So this seems quite in the same pattern, this cycle that I've just talked about, where the senior journalists obviously got a little miffed, saying that, well, if I was partially responsible for ensuring that you played for India for quite a while, why is it that you can't respond to me now? So it is unsavory, yes, but I must quickly utilize the opportunity, Alison, to compliment Rahul Dravid, because if you remember, I kept talking about communication, conversation between players and coaches and, of course, the board as well, or the selectors, where they prepare people for an exit or for not being considered, rather than just saying, well, you're not in there and you read about it in newspapers. So to that extent, I'm glad Rahul started off conversing, talking to people, communicating about the fact that they may not be available for, or they may not be considered for selection in the future because of one reason or the other. It's never easy for a player. And it's, you know, Wriddhiman Saha is obviously, you know, upset, miffed. And then this journalist thing was just a sort of last nail in the coffin, as it were.
Who would have thought journalists might have egos, hey? It never happens. Never happens. The players are the stars. We are merely the conduits of the information. Well, that is all we've got time for on this week's Stump. So my thanks to Jim Maxwell and Charu Sharma, and to you for listening. Make sure you join us again next week. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and All India Radio, this is Stumped.